It is your favorite lifestyle show on TV. This is the Upside Down Show.
Yes, indeed, and it's always a pleasure coming into your home to serve you nothing but the best of total entertainment. Listen, the show is informative, it is educative, it is exciting. And guess what? Have you noticed that people pick off our interviews and actually plan their shows around our interviews?
Well, that's why we are here.
That's why it's the Upside Down Show. We didn't come to play
At all.
And we are not doing any of that tonight because tonight promises to be electrifying. We're going to bring some fireworks right here into the studios. My name is Nanatufo.
My name is Prampam Adunyame. I just don't want to talk so much because we have a conversation right after this break. We bring you a show.
Coming up on the Upside Down Show, we have a conversation with Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampam constituency, Sam George, on his political journey, his views on governance, how he unwinds, amongst many others.
All right, welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show right here on City TV. As always, our work is very, very simple. To sit here in the sofas, relax, and bring you all the juice about some of your favorite personalities. Tonight is no different, but tonight promises to be very, very exciting.
You know, tonight, the gentleman we are talking to, okay, is with somebody that, on my own, I've wanted to have a conversation with him. And I'm so excited that we are doing this tonight. And I can actually go into people's minds, you know. I know what people want us to.
Do you know what I'm thinking now?
Nana, I can figure it out, you know. I just don't know. I just know what people want to know, you know, and I can just assure you that whatever you want to know, we equally want to know, and that is why we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome our guest, the son of nothing, George.
What's up?
This is Sam George. Now the Dzata man.
Mischief. Oh no.
We are playing Perez music.
Yeah, solid guy. Solid guy. I love his music. I think he's largely underrated, but I think that he's one of the most technically gifted gospel musicians around today.
I mean, I think that his time is now.
Absolutely, and I think that people need to take their time and listen to him again, listen to his work, and appreciate his music. He's not just your regular musician, and he's not just a musician. He's a minister of the gospel.
Absolutely. Don't be surprised
you see the thing about you. You sat down now you're flowing.
Don't be surprised, you know, that Sam George is talking about Perez music and gospel music. He's a man of many parts. You know, perhaps what you don't know is what we'll be delving into, you know, on Upside Down
tonight. Can we
tonight.
just them small? See, the man is an elder in his church.
Yeah.
He's a politician.
Yeah.
He's a husband. He's a father. He's a communicator. What are you not?
The sports aspect.
Last you were teaching the GFA how to get sponsorship for.
No, we will come to all that, you know. But he is also known as Dzata. You know, if they say you are Dzata, not just say Charlie fireworks. But why you call Dzata?
It was a branding decision I took. I've done branding in my earlier life. And so a bit of corporate branding and all. And so when I decided to go into politics and I was contesting my boss, Honorable E.T. Mensah, in 2015, one of the key things that was being used against me was my youthfulness, aggressiveness, the outgoing, fiery thing as a young man who was in a hurry in life. And so I had to take my weakness and brand myself and turn that weakness around, because I realized on the campaign trail, people were characterizing me by how my opposition at the time had described me. So I picked that as my weakness and turned it around and then introduced the Dzata into my name as part of my name and said, look, whatever they are telling you or describing me as is because I'm a lion, and lions are kings. Lions take what they want when they want it, and so have me as your MP, and I would fight for you like a lion will fight for you.
No, we'll go to Ningo Prampam, you know. But,
that was a branding decision.
But talking about, and I think that it worked.
It's worked for you, actually.
So talking about how your opponents branded you or how they described you, you know, with kind of you're aggressive, he will speak his mind and all of that, you know. Let's go back to your growing up. Did that have any influence on who you have grown up to be? Growing up in Nigeria.
Yes, certainly. I mean, I grew up in Nigeria. I went to Nigeria when I was about 2 years old. My mom took me to be with my dad there. I was born in Somania, and then 2 years, around, or even slightly younger than 2, went to Nigeria. Growing up in school, you were called Omogana, you know, and so you never really fit in with the people there. And I've always been younger than every class I found myself
you were
in.
shark.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I wasn't 4 yet when I entered class 1.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, so I've always been younger than the average age of my class. I went to GS1 at the age. I went to GS1 from class 4. I didn't do class 5 and 6.
Wow.
Yes. I had to repeat GS3 because I was just too young to go to SS1. You know, so it's all of those kinds of things. And so being younger, smaller than your class age, being Ghanaian in Nigeria and being picked on, the only way to survive was to toughen up and then take the fight to them. And so, it did shape the kind of person I was. And then coming back to tech in 2001, I mean, I was a young boy. I came to the university at the age of 16. It was a rude awakening. Everybody seemed so slow, so laid back. What's this? You know, it's taking me years to readjust. You know, but still work in progress.
Ghana was too cool at the time.
You know, I saw a certain video. You know, I think that was sometime last week. You know, when you had gone to campus, I don't know if it was Tech or University of Ghana,
Tech,
and you were charging. Let's charge small now.
You know, it's been 16, almost 17 years. I left the university in 2005. So this year makes it 17 years, and I hadn't been back to Katanga in a long time. And as a fellow, I went for a program, a TAIN program, and then the whole JCR came to meet me at the program and said, "You're not leaving campus without passing by the hall."
Of course.
You know, and I went to the hall, and then, you know, morale started at the entrance there, and I was being MP with it, but Charlie hit me at the time, and then Charlie, you know, we had to just move it on, you know. And some of the songs are, may not be TV friendly.
It's upside down. Everything and anything is doable.
I was asked this question, and I said my very first Katanga song I learned was at my matriculation, and I'll sing that for you.
Nice.
All right, let's go.
Kwesi and Dam was the vice chancellor.
Okay.
Matriculation, our parents were sitting down there. Every other first year was there. Katanga first years had not come. When the program was halfway before they marched us in, when they marched us in, and the security people were trying to stop us, then they started Mucha Neti, VC or your join, Mucha Neti, VC or your join, Mucha Neti, VC or your join, Yampa. Again, Mucha Neti, and Dam or your join, Mucha Neti. And I'm your the soul of Professor Kwesi and my favorite vice chancellor in tech. Rest in perfect peace.
I can actually picture you, imagine you on tech campus. I mean.
No, I like it. You know, when I saw the video, I was like, that's some George for you. But share a little bit of experience when you were on campus.
You know, campus was a fantastic one. I was affiliated to Katanga, but my mom saw the way Katanga was. It said 16-year-old Sam George from Nigeria with no. And then she said she was going to get a hostel in Eduasi. We didn't get a good one. And then SNIT had just started putting up its hostel in Kumasi on Tech campus. And so I was actually like the first student to be moved into SNIT. The doors were not, my room for the first week didn't have a door, you know, because my mom was like, she wouldn't let me stay in the hall, you know, but well, she left me and went, and I would spend my whole day in the hall, you know, and all of that. And then eventually we moved into the hostel. Then Unity Hall came and said they were coming to name or colonize the place, like the way Katanga had colonized Brunei. And then I called the hall JCR at the time, and they said, no, I'm a fellow and I'm there. So that place is a Katanga colony.
Thank you.
Well, then Unity came and called the place Camp David because it was all painted white. And then that very night, we walked from Katanga all the way, and people who know the distance from Katanga all the way to SNIT hostels and recolonized it. We got there at 2 a.m. and with the bombardiers and everything, woke everybody up, shook the place, did the traditional rites, and I was made a village chief. The traditional rites were done, and then we named it Gaza. So till today, the place is called Gaza.
Yeah.
It's called the Gaza Strip.
So you guys did that. So you were chief on campus?
Yeah, the village chief.
in Gaza, because Gaza is a colony of Katanga.
But how does this kind of campus politics, I went to University of Ghana. We have the chief vandal and all these kind of things, and you realize that when the chief vandal speaks, the VC will not even come and talk. Sometimes when the VC wants to tell the students something, he has to go to the chiefs, and talk to the chief.
I mean, and Katanga, we did have our chiefs and our chief priest and all of that, but the whole, like I keep saying, Katanga as a whole, it's a family, it's a whole movement. I pay royalties to Chamaun to me when I say it's a movement, because but Katanga is
okay. We were accused of being mischievous.
Okay.
Oh, come on, no, I'm just paying royalty. But Katanga is a brotherhood, is a feeling. It's a university within a university. It's the only hall called the University Hall. My color is almost like Katanga's colors, yellow and black. Anyway, coincidence. But I keep telling the story that sometime in 2009, driving on the N1, I get to La Paz, I'm in traffic, and then I see an old school Mercedes-Benz with a Katanga sticker on the back of it, and I pull over, and there's this man all grey, very grey, clearly in his 70s with his old wife, and I roll down my glass, and I say, fellow. And the guy turns around, looks at me, charge. At
his age.
We're charging to the grave,
That feeling
And one thing about Katanga is the fact that people know Katanga for all the various many misrepresentations, which are not the reality of what it is. But you realize that most times the best students in class are from Katanga, because there's a lot of work that's done. The seniors make sure that the junior students are taken through. You do your Shabre process, come back, and then there are study groups that would help you. And it's a family. It's a family you can't take away anything from. The university can try to change the hall, mix it like they've done and all of that. But for me, I believe that you can't change the legend. The legend lives on.
Well, at this point, did you know what you wanted to be in future? And were you worried if what you call these misrepresentations would have any effect at all on you?
Not exactly. I mean, I passed a comment in 2003 to my then roommate, Kojoja Kedaku, that I was going to go to Parliament in 2016.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, in 2003. And we had a funny conversation around it. And I'm like, Charlie, me call Parliament 2016. And he's like, constituency bank. I'm like, Ningo Prampam. Say, hold on, me free. And he's like, we got to eat him, man. What about that?
I'll go with this,
and I did the calculation. I was like, oh, it's that time now when you and it's like, Charlie, forget it. I mean, to our dream. But I mean, and it was just a random conversation. But 13 years on, 2016, I won the election and went to Parliament.
How did you prepare yourself, Because, I mean, we all know that certain places you wouldn't even think of, especially when the certain MP has not given up, he is still going to go. I mean, what came over you? How confident were you? What preparation did you actually put in? And how did you psych yourself? Because this was going to be a fight, and it turned out to be one.
All right, so I have a philosophy. Everything I do, I learn at the feet of great masters. I look for people who have excelled in the craft and learn. And that's one thing many young people are not patient about. Learning is a slow, patient process. In 2008, I decided that I wanted to learn at the feet of Honorable E.T. Mentor. It wasn't easy to just walk up to him and say, I want to learn. And that's the thing. Many people you want to learn from are not willing to teach you. Mentorship is something that our seniors are not very big on. In fact, they see their mentees as threats. And so people are not willing to mentor people. But persistence. From 2008 till 2015, 7 years. Or let me say, I stopped working with him sometime in 2013. So from 2008 to 2013, 5 years of mentorship, 5 years of learning, working. And I always say this, I worked for him without taking a salary. Because for me, it was about learning the craft. And you can't take it away from the Honorable E.T. Mentor. I think he's one of the finest politicians Ghana has ever produced. I mean, this is someone who's been in politics for over 40 years and has survived. Many of the people he started with never got to the height he got to, never achieved the things he achieved. And so for me, he was the best person to learn from. And so if you subject yourself to mentorship, you learn the trade, the trade and everything within the trade, you know. And so everything I've done when it came to communications, I've never sat in a communications class, learned at the feet of great masters, you know. When I did events organization and corporate branding, learned at the feet of masters before venturing into it. IT, same thing. Most of the things I've actually gotten my hands involved in, I don't have certification for, but it's simply the fact that I have learned the craft at the feet of masters. And so the next phase of my life is something I'm already planning for. I'm learning at the feet of masters as we speak now, because for me, it's the next thing I want to get myself involved in.
You want to be a president?
Oh no, there are people who are angling for it. I wish them all the best.
But maybe eventually.
Yeah, someday.
Charlie, I know job for yourself. See the grey. You
know, no, especially Ghana, they have to bring yourself that want to carry our strength.
So Charlie, you see me, I like to live my life. I like to be free. I like to have fun.
And live your life.
I like to enjoy my life. That began
would that restrict you from living your life? Oh,
President, but are you worried?
President,
No, but it's okay. I mean, President Mahama rides his bike. You know, I would like it.
We'll bring the bike to the house.
No. You see me, I'm a man of the people.
But you know,
I'm a man of the people, so I like to stay with the people. Me, when I finish Parliament, I want to go and start my farm. Stay on my farm, and when you're looking for me, come and meet me, my cattle and my preco and my Wellington boots and my shorts.
But do you worry about people talking about you?
I've developed thick skin. Now I say that this thing is hide. If you bite it, you break your teeth. Fool with it. Charlie, the stubborn type. But you know, human as you are, there are days when it all gets to you. You know, that's one thing that many people do not realize, that no matter how tough you are, even rock breaks after many years of water running under it. And at times I keep saying that persons who hold public office, one of the things, but it's not just restricted to them and not political, even in corporate Ghana, we need to begin to look at the mental health of people. There's a lot of pressure. Right. A lot of pressure.
So how does Madame deal with all these kind of stuff?
I think she'll be the best person to answer, you know, because she has to deal with my up moments and my down moments. She's the closest person to me. She sees it all. You know, she sees a part of me that nobody else sees. She sees it when the pressure gets to me and I reach cracking point. She sees it when I'm at cruising level as well. So she's had to learn how to adjust and manage it. I couldn't have done what I've done in the short time, and I don't run away from it. I've had a very, very, for want of a better word, successful political career in a very short time. You know, people have been at this way before I got in here and haven't managed to get to the heights that God has graced me with. But I've been able to achieve it because of my wife Vera and how she's been that bastion, that stalwart. You know, my number one critic, my number one cheerleader. I think that's a position she and my mother shared together. She's held me down, knowing that I can go out there and face the world, and my kids are well taken care of, because my kids are everything for me. And so,
3 of them.
And so knowing that I've got someone, I mean, she made big sacrifices. She came back from school, and I said to her, look, babes, you can't go back to work. I mean, this was someone who had big dreams. She was working in management position, went to do her masters, came back with all her dreams, and I'm like, nah, you can't go back to work. I'm hardly at home. Our kids are young. They can't be brought up by nannies. You need to make that sacrifice for us. And she's done that for 5-6 years now. It's something I don't take for granted.
No, your voice has even changed.
Yeah, the lion is in love. An emotional lion.
Oh, no, media be romantic.
It's very necessary.
We will come to romantic aspects. We will come to that. You know,
romantic now.
So we'll come to romantic aspect. This is the Upside Down Show.
On the boss.
Thank you very much. We are talking to Sam Nate George. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Beautiful conversation right here inside our studios. So we're sitting with the man, Sam Nate George, MP for Ningo Prampam.
Dzata.
The Dzata of our time.
Yeah.
But Dzata again is side, romantic Dzata, emotional Dzata.
Dzata is romantic. So when you're talking about Vera, you know, when you're talking about Ningo Prampam, so then Ningo Prampam. When you're talking about, so Vera. No, I like it. I like it.
Obia on the boss.
Thank you very much. No, when you acknowledge it like that,
domestic commander in chief.
No, it's necessary. Madam, we salute you.
We salute you. On
that note, how far with the LGBTQ plus stuff?
Charlie, we did talk. We're on it. It's taking quite some time. There are a few bottlenecks that we have to navigate, but nothing out of the ordinary. It's usual parliamentary practice.
Is the committee done with the hearings?
They are done with the public hearings. They have one more hearing they've agreed to do in camera. Some persons who say that they are practitioners, they are doing their thing. They want to appear before the committee, but they don't want to appear on TV. And I'm like, if what you're doing is good, come and
I mean, if you don't want to talk about
but the committee victimizing them. But the committee says they'll hear them, so the committee can hear them. When the committee is done hearing them, we should go into the clause by clause consideration at the committee level and bring it to the plenary.
So you, Nankasa, what exactly do you want? Old school boy be pay wana.
Miss George Darby, to me.
Why? I mean, you're a fine boy, and
so the girls, it's a girl.
Is it like there was an experience?
Has a guy hit on you before?
For which reason you're so very vehemently against this?
Saturday.
Me, I'm Mijinai.
No, not who hitting on someone. A guy
come after you.
There are some things that are not blessings. They are not good. Don't ask for it.
So you don't even want to think about it. You can't picture it.
Charlie, how? No. So who will do the bend down?
Shut up
and bend down. Look, bend over. Who do the bend over?
Said it's between mutual agreement.
Charlie,
you understand?
You take turns.
Won't why?
Anyway,
Charlie, no.
But has it brought any extra pressure on you as a person leading this campaign?
Plenty.
What has it been like for you?
Not just me, but even the family, and that's been some of the most challenging things with pushing the bill. My kids have paid a price for it. I mean, there's some of the things that for me I've decided. No, not school, with international community travel and stuff like that. But I've tried to keep the challenges out of it, because you start talking about it and people feel like you're engaging in emotional blackmail. And a lot of the conversation about the bill has been about my person, and me, but not about really the substance of the bill. And I'm not just only, you are 8 of us, So for me, when we're done with this, we will have a full conversation about how vicious the people who are asking us to respect their rights are. Okay, you're so intolerant of my viewpoint, yet you want me to accept your viewpoint. Personally, the prices I've paid are enormous. I've been put on certain international watch lists and stuff. You have to travel, and you get to an international airport, and all kinds of funny questions are asked of you. Misika can send me the back bank. You see me here money laundry. I can't even change $10 anywhere in the world.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because of accusations that I'm being funded by some ghost group in the US. And I said, look, I don't even know this group, so I'm looking for the group.
But are you being funded by
No, it's largely coming from my pocket. And that's what I'm saying.
But what do you want
I'm looking for the group.
Once they put it on you,
when they bring the money, I'll do press conference and announce it and say that, Sikanabo.
Yeah.
You remember that? Is it Vodafone advert?
No.
Sikanabo.
It was the first MTN Momo advert.
MTN Momo advert. Sikanabo. I'll do so. Sikanabo.
But you know something? Of all the things you can do for the people of Ningo Prampam, of all the things you can do for Ghanaians, and I mean your family, why is this your issue? What is the problem? If somebody wants to sleep with another woman, if somebody wants to sleep with another man, what is your issue? Why? Have you finished solving the bad roads? Have you finished the
water issues, the electricity?
What do you want?
Okay, so it's not as though this is the only thing I'm doing. I'm still working on a lot of other issues that affect the people of Ningo Prampam. However, before I even took on this battle, I had 2 meetings with the 2 traditional councils, the Ningo Traditional Council, Prampam Traditional Council, and put the issues before them after the Australian ambassador, former Australian ambassador, and former Danish and EU rep had gone to open an office. When the office was opened, it was public conversation. And once that public conversation came up, I started talking about it. And then I made a statement on the floor of the House. And post my statement, I met with the two traditional councils and I said, look, this is an issue that has come up. And this is my position. And I think that these people have been strengthened by the weakness of our legislation. Right. So I want to propose a private members bill. Do I have your support? My two traditional councils said, go ahead. I held 18 town hall meetings in my constituency on this matter.
Oh, okay.
And not at even one did anybody stand up and say, don't do it. Everybody said, go ahead and do it. So I have the blessings and support of my chiefs and my people to execute this mission. Now, it's not, you see, if it was just about two guys entering a room and getting it on, that's their business. But then there are ripple effects. Ask yourself why, and let me backtrack and state that there's a misconception out there that this is something that is prevalent in the West. And the rest of the world has accepted it. Ghana is being archaic if we go along the lines of the bill. That's not true. There are 50 states in the United States of America. Only 23 states out of the 50 have laws that promote LGBTQ.
Less than half.
27 have laws that criminalize or fight or restrict the rights to practice homosexuality. More than half in the United States. And even in the 23, 6 of them have recently passed laws to limit the freedoms that they had previously given to them.
Right.
So you see a movement. When you go to Europe, only 17 of the over 50 countries in Europe have legislation that support LGBTQ. So even in their own domains, it's not a settled issue. It's not an issue that majority support. It's still a minority view.
Issue,
Okay, and so my point here is, you want to practice what you want to do it in the privacy of your room. But when you want to then make it a matter of educational curriculum, and begin to introduce my kid, my 4-year-old or my 6-year-old, to sexuality education, and letting them feel that it is okay for a guy to fall in love with a guy. You don't have the right to conscientize or socialize my kid. That's my kid. Okay, and so keep your perversion to yourself, but don't bring it and make it a norm that we all have to accept. And again, Frema, when a guy is going to get intimate with a woman, we don't go and stand. I don't sell tickets at Accra Sports Stadium. You
don't invite the whole world to come.
Or WhatsApp video. No. Okay, it's a private thing. And so you should keep it in the privacy of your home. But and this goes to address the issue where people say the heterosexual people are engaged in fornication and adultery. Yes, but that's why they hide it. That's why they've not asked that we should teach our kids that it is okay to engage in this. That's why they're not asking for it to be recognized. Okay, you are asking for your perversion to become the norm, to become recognized. Okay, and I keep asking, it's a dam. Once you open it and the water starts gushing out, you can't push the water back. You go to countries like Finland, they started with, recognize our rights, then move to marriage rights. Now in Finland, you can actually marry your pet. Yes, bestiality. They've got in there. In Scotland, a 4-year-old kid can go to school without the permission of his parents. Ask the school to change his sex from male to female. 4-year-old.
I hear in some countries,
they can't brush his
teeth. When you're filling the forms, they don't even put the gender space there.
They're saying don't say father and mother, say parent. I mean, and you see, COVID began to bring my awareness to this before the office was open. I spent a lot more time with the kids and I watched the cartoons. I mean, as a big fan of the superhero cartoons, Superman was always in love with the female presenter Kate. Okay, but now Superman is gay.
His son.
His son is gay. Batman had a sidekick called Robin. And I mean, when Batman kicks everybody's butt, then he calls Robin to come in with his Batmobile and all of that. Right now, Robin is Batman's gay lover.
But you
SpongeBob SquarePants, even a sea animal.
That one. Sense. But do you think that this bill will see the light of day in Ghana?
I believe so. I'm confident that before the end of this parliament, we'll pass it into law.
Are you doing all these things because you are deacon in church?
I started before I was even made an elder.
It has nothing to do with religion.
No. Look, it's a cultural thing. Read Article 39 of the Constitution. Article 39 of the Constitution says that the state has a responsibility to ensure that the correct traditional and customary values are inculcated in the state. And when people say, it's people's rights, Trokosi.
Of course.
Theocracy is a religious right of people. It's people's traditional belief. But the state has deemed it, majority of us in the state have deemed it to be evil. And we've outlawed it. Okay? Jihad, as enshrined in Islam, is not what is done by Islamist extremists or fundamentalists. But for those people who carry out what we call terrorism, it is the purest form of religion.
Even witch camps.
Yes, it's the purest form of religion. But majority of us have sat down and said, this is unacceptable. And I keep saying, when people say, oh, you say they you are trying to stop their right to advocacy and all of that. If I came to City TV and said, I have an advert, I want to buy airtime, an advert to promote Christian, and let's not take religious extremism to be only Islamic.
No.
There's Christian extremism.
Of course.
And I want to come and do an advert on religious extremism that supports either a Christian extreme position or an Islamic extreme position. Would you collect it? Would you accept it?
No, definitely not.
You won't. Why? It's my faith, it's my belief. But because you know that the majority of your viewers will be offended by that position. The majority of your viewers are also going to be appalled if you were running an advert promoting same-sex marriage.
True. Of course. Let's come to...
Before we switch, have you seen the recent, or heard about the recent Porta Pete thing in Dubai?
Yeah, Potty Party.
The Potty Party,
Yeah. Pressure, societal pressure. I mean, the ladies, Papa Bia, but you want to carry a $15,000 bag. Charlie, I mean, look, I've known Frima for years, okay, from her time in other media houses and the work she's done in this space. I think that it's more dignifying to break your back as a woman or as a man and earn a proper living and live a decent life than to go after the flashy things and end up. I mean, look, on this LGBTQ thing, if it was about making a quick buck, I could have been sorted out for life. Offers were made.
Oh, really?
Offers were made, you know.
Okay.
I can show you messages on my phone
actually
from places in groups in San Francisco and all inviting and saying, look, let's sit down, let's have a conversation, drop this bill and all of that. If that was what it was about for me, I mean, I could have gotten it sorted out. But you must have principles. And I think that young people are too much in a... And young people like myself are not ready to put in the hard work and patient enough to reap the rewards of your hard work. We want it quick, we want it fast. And it's because society begins to put pressure on the young man who's working legitimately. When down for no. And you're in a way school. One of the so-called celebrity rich men in Ghana, I saw a video of him mad in his own country.
That guy, you wouldn't want to...
You know, so, but that had become the gold standard at a certain point in time for our society. So you're pushing young people to want to achieve things that even their fathers could not achieve at their age. And we're putting unnecessary pressure, and people are buckling under that pressure and getting involved in all kinds of things. And that's what will lead girls to go into Dubai, to go and do the kinds of things. I mean, it's sad. And look, we're talking about Dubai. It's going on here.
It's going on here.
Ask yourself, and there's a lot of gay sex tourism in Ghana. It's one of the things we're fighting. When we started doing this bill, the things we saw, you see so many white people coming into Ghana. They are not staying in Accra Central. They come and then they come and spend the weekend. They go to Kokrobite or they go and do an Airbnb in some village at Kaswa or something. And they are there and they are pimps who just send them 16-year-old, 15-year-old boys. And they sodomize these boys and they pay them as little as $200, $300. And the doctors at Kolibu are telling us that many of these boys are coming back with anal tears, fecal incontinence, and then sadly many of them are getting infected with HIV/AIDS. 16-year-olds.
It's sad.
Okay, so a lot of people are coming in, and that's why you hear the LGBT community say our bill is going to affect tourism. It's because they're doing sex tourism. Homosexual sex tourism, and it's something we need to take seriously in our country, you know, but people don't want to look at it. And that's why I celebrate a country like Qatar, where the head of security was asked about the complaints from the British coach, the English coach, Gareth Southgate, and a lot of British media talking about the fact that people want to come to Qatar for the World Cup, but they're afraid about the Islamic laws there and how they don't support homosexuality. And he said, you're buying a ticket to come to Qatar for 28 days for football.
Exactly.
Not for sex.
Not for sex.
So you come here, you respect our cultural laws and our cultural identity.
Exactly.
Ghana we must take a position, what's our culture? And then people must respect it. When Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State, highest ranking woman, even today, if Nancy Pelosi or the Vice President is going to go to Saudi Arabia, she's going to cover up her hair out of respect for the culture of those people. So we must have our culture. We must respect it.
That much I agree with you. But talking about societal pressures and all, I think social media has come. It has its advantages and disadvantages, putting a lot of pressure on people. You are one parliamentarian who is very active on social media. You will not say something, against some George and just walk away. So sometimes I'm like, some George, I say, Charlie, you couldn't let this slide. People would think that he's an MP. Why does it really go out? Like hold people one on one. Like why do you do that?
First and foremost, I'm a human being. The fact that I'm an MP doesn't mean that when I wake up in the morning I don't sit on the bowl. I also do it. I have blood running through my veins and yet diesel.
Of course.
You understand me? And you have a situation where people have made it a culture to just throw shade or throw mud or insult or disrespect anybody in public office. Yeah. Okay, and think that it's fine. Or your MP on to me and hell no. If you come at me with rubbish, you get rubbish in tenfold.
But sometimes you don't feel it's deliberate just for someone to ride on your name.
There are some I see and I ignore. I mean, like there's a musician whose career is dead, who's plucking tomatoes somewhere in Italy. And he tried to ride on me. I responded to him once and I was like, Charlie, dude, I just realized you dropped a single that's not trending.
Some George.
You dropped a single that's not trending. You want me to help you? No. Dude, forget it. Get away. I won't mind you. Okay? Yeah. And but you see, people see when I do clapbacks and it goes viral and all of that. But I think that one of the things I've tried to do with my Twitter handle and Facebook is I've tried to demystify the position of a public office holder.
Right.
Many young people felt that you can't tweet as an MP or a public office holder. He won't respond to you. Yeah. And many of my colleagues will not respond to you.
True.
Whether it is a plea for help or a commendation or anything, you just don't get feedback from people in public office.
Far away.
Yeah. But for me, like I said, I'm not a politician. I am an ordinary Ghanaian citizen who's found himself in political office. Right. I'm not going to be there forever. I'm going to leave. And I got into political office criticizing some of the excesses or problems of the political elite. Now, I must be minded about how I conduct myself, because when I leave, people are going to pass judgment on my time as a public office holder. Right. And that's why for me, staying in constant touch with people, being able to respond. And you realize it's not just the clapbacks. There are times I even engage in jokes and stuff with people on Twitter. Okay? People think I don't handle my social media handle. People think there's a team
sitting
somewhere. I manage everything. Nobody has my passwords. I respond and
Instagram, everywhere.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I do my own thing myself. You can't respond better than me.
You can't be a better Sam George. Some George.
You have a shade bank sitting somewhere. You just cash out and throw.
Peace is an ever name. My wife is an ever, so peace is an ever name. It's overrated.
It's overrated.
Violence all the way. You wake up and you say, Charlie, let there be violence.
This nation.
All right, we're still having a conversation with Sam George right here on the Upside Down Show. We'll take a quick spin. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Upside Down Show here on City TV. Seated right here is the man, Sam George, and we're having a lovely conversation spanning politics, education, sports, music, just name it. We're going to go into some small money matters. Taxation. And we actually saw you tell somebody to shut up, and he makes more sense by being quiet.
That's saying okay.
Why are you like this? And why do you take up the fight? I mean, so seriously. Others start it and then they just let go at a point. But you seem to go the entire whole.
I don't start a battle that I'll lose. Before I get into anything, I make sure I'm prepared for the long haul. And so I'm a long distance driver. Yeah.
Man diesel.
Yeah.
Man diesel. So I try to make sure that I've covered all my paces. I do my homework, do my research, get my information before I speak on any issue.
You've done same with the e-levy?
Absolutely. I mean, with the e-levy, the first time I made an expose on the e-levy was on City. I was hosted by Bernard Avlet. That was about 7 weeks before it would be rolled out. And I said stuff that would happen and stuff that was going on. I repeated it 3 weeks later on Metro TV. And when e-levy happened, all the things I said will happen. Happened. GRA issued statements saying that they shouldn't mind me. They were ready to roll out. You were ready, and then you had to. You saw all the mess, and you had to do refund. I mean, there are real technical issues. They are making all kinds of noise about the fact that they are making. So one of the charging entities made 1 million Ghana cedis. I look at it and I'm laughing. And I'm saying, well, people are not paying attention. That charging entity, even in their statement, controls 70% of the market.
Exactly.
They made 1 million. Let's even assume that you extrapolate that across board. The remaining 30% cannot give you 1 million. But let's even assume that the remaining 30% gives you another 1 million. 1 million plus 1 million is 2 million. A day. So for 30 days is how much? 60 million times 12 for a year is what? 60 times 12. 720 million. What did they tell you they'll get from e-levy? They said they'll get 4.9 billion.
4.9. Yeah.
They've not made 1 billion. So why are you exciting yourself? I mean, the charging entities are seeing drops. In the first few days, they saw drops of about 45% in usage. Yes, it's picked up again, but right now you're seeing between 25 to 30% drop in usage. I, for one, have not done mobile money in the last 6 weeks. I won't do it.
Into your tax.
Meet your tax. You see, that's the thing.
But is the e-levy charges?
Is the problem with the taxation
I
or
pay
what?
taxes. Look, Chief, or meat prices, not sure taxes are, and take your receipt and look at it. Not sure taxes are, I bet you I was meat pie also. So when government says people are not paying taxes, you buy an item, 1,500, and about 300 cedis on that 1,500 is actually taxes. And then they're now asking you to pay 1.5 on top of that, and that the 300 Ghana cedis you have paid as taxes is the end soon government. 1.5 now we've given you an elephant to eat. One man, what's the amount of guinea fowl? But
do you believe, or do you think that Mr. John Mahama will be president 2025?
I'm pretty confident in my mind that he has everything it takes and that the stakes are actually in his favor. However, it's not a done deal.
Right. And when he comes, he will scrap e-levy?
Oh, as for that scrapping of e-levy, then if he doesn't do it,
you have had the party has had that conversation.
If President Mahama becomes president January 2025, and the first budget is read, which will be sometime in March of 2025, and the budget doesn't announce a scrapping of CST, Miss Sam George, I would attack President Mahama on it.
That's not enough.
What is not enough?
So say now, then that is it.
What is
MP and I know that you
President Mahama and Mamako Parliament. I have a responsibility to my people, and what will give me a voice is for me to be in Parliament as an NDC MP and criticize my president for failing on his promise. But I trust President Mahama that he will not fail on his promise, because the decision to make that announcement. Listen, this e-levy conversation has been going on for months. He had never spoken. He had never spoken because he was doing the proper consultations on it, and I am confident that the decision he arrived at was not a knee-jerk one. It was based on all the conversations that have been had, the technical things that have been put at his disposal, and what the alternatives are. That he is confident he will, and that's why I'm confident. I won't even get to the place where I have to criticize him. But like I said, his opportunity of winning 2025 is it's in his hands.
Right.
But it's not a done deal.
Right.
I see NDC people who say
administration has served it.
No, I see NDC people who say, 2025, 24 no,
done deal.
There's work to be done at the polling stations. Elections are won at the polling stations. Complacency will make us lose 2024 if we go in with the mindset that no. You are dealing with a party that is ruthless. You are dealing with a party that is focused on breaking the 8, as they've said. We need to be more determined that the power that people will put in our hands legitimately will not be snatched away by the overarching power and desperation of a government that wants to change or perpetuate itself in power. So, yes, the stakes are highly in our favor, but do not go to rest. Go and work.
Right.
At the polling station.
So let me ask you a personal question. You know, people have described you with all kinds of adjectives. He's rude, he's arrogant, he's a snob, he's this. How would you describe yourself?
You know, the English people were... The English people, right, or Himal's hometown, that they did idiom and said, "Don't judge a book by its cover."
Yes.
So it's because of me.
So if don't judge a book by its cover was a human being,
it's Sam George. Because people meet me, and they're like, "Oh wow, I didn't know you are like that."
Yeah.
Hey, 98% of the people who say Sam George on board or arrogant, they've never met me. They've never spoken with me.
True.
You get it?
Yeah.
Prima, you've known me for years.
Yeah.
Can you show me any time I've met you and snubbed you, or I've met you, can you show me anybody who says Sam George met me and snubbed me? I mean, that's not who I am. Me. This will be pen question. I'm a free, happy-go human being.
Well, what you probably wouldn't know is he's a patron of Dynamic Friday.
Thank you.
And in case you don't know, tune into 97.3 FM every Friday morning after 10 a.m.
From 10 a.m. to 12.
Thank you.
And listen to Frema breaking down the Odomunyum and all of those things. And explaining what that the Lumba meant when he said certain things in his song.
I love your funny, baby.
You know, so
Yeah.
for me, it is. You see, as free as I am,
Yeah.
I'm also very strict and principled.
Exactly.
So I would joke with you, I would laugh with you. And the guys on my campaign team, my team in Ningo Prampam who work with me, at first didn't appreciate it because I would blast you from here to Mars. And 5 minutes later, my hand is on your shoulder and I'm cracking a joke with you. And they're like, who is this madman?
Yeah.
But that's it. I won't put my anger in me. No.
The work has to be done.
Yeah.
I will tell you my peace of mind. You do it right, I'm going to tell you you've done it right. You do it wrong, I'll tell you my peace of mind, set you straight, and we move on. People don't like correction. People don't like people who are factual and truthful.
Yeah.
Me,
Ouch.
Yeah.
But
why should I tell you you are some way beautiful?
Manage it. You also say you are beautiful. You are beautiful inside.
I just use that as an example. I mean, I will tell you how it is. I don't work at Commander Sugar Factory. You know, for me to be sugar coating
That's sugar factory.
Do you make time for family, considering your work and all that? You're always on the move.
I have to. It's imperative, you know. And there have been times when I've just said, this period, everything else must wait. I'm spending time with the kids, especially because I have young kids. And the last thing I want is for my kids to grow and feel like our father gave his whole life to other people and we never had it. No, I've heard too many stories of very successful public figures who have not been able to manage their families. And so for me, it's something I learned. I try to make time for that as and when I get the time, and Madam is also available, trying to make time for her, because it's one thing making time for the family and the kids, and it's one thing making time for your spouse.
Exactly.
Okay, because especially when you're a young couple, it's easy to get carried away and you stop dating each other and you stop spending time with each other, and that's what creates the distance, and that's what brings the separation and leads to all kinds of things, you know. So, well, if your parents have been married for 45 years like my dad and mom, you don't have an excuse, you know.
Well,
so
I mean, I've seen you and Madame, you know, you know the places we meet. It's necessary. It's necessary, you know. What's your say?
Forward balance.
Thank you.
So that that means for me here we be.
Thank you. What is that second gear now? This one, and put it on the fifth gear.
You know.
But what I don't understand about you is a young man like you. What is your motivation for supporting Arsenal?
That's why I'm a good husband.
I don't want to
I think that one we share.
Loyalty to a cause.
Long
suffering.
Gunners for life.
Now what team are supporting?
Man City.
I feel they work for Man City.
And you're afraid, yeah.
Or a man tem for Nibi.
No, Man City. That when I would support Man City. Man City.
I'm not meaning where I don't know me supporting Arsenal.
Now supporting Arsenal.
Me who and I'm supporting Man City. Hey, here the roadside. I beg.
All right, so now at least we know you support us now.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, I'm a Ghana
solid
for life.
team.
Yeah.
Come back into Europe, the European Champions League.
But
for the first
Young
time,
moved to
Top four.
Barca.
But have you heard that the fans have started bashing him?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, because they met Oba.
Yeah.
Now they've met the mayor.
But let's go to church.
Yeah.
You know, elder of the church. How are you able to marry the two?
Yeah.
Because Ghana dear, Sebi, I beg you. Politician be Uncle Heaven.
My politics is largely driven by God. I grew up in church. Again, I say that it's my upbringing. My parents brought me up in church. It's the only place I know. And I keep saying that people say politicians dabble in all kinds of things. I dare anybody to say that they've ever seen me or heard of me going somewhere to go and do something. Everything is about the church. Okay. You know, before I go into elections, and you can talk to my Archbishop Charles Ajinasari. Yeah. So I also go and ask because I see him as God's oracle in my life. I go and we seek the face of God. Should I go? Will this election happen? How is it going to happen? What's the mind of God for it? So if you even take my primaries with Honorable E.T. Mensah, if you take that poster, there's Proverbs 21:31 on the poster because everybody I spoke to said I won't win. And so I challenged God and we fasted and prayed about it. I challenged God and said, let me have 4 people who I don't know in my constituency, from the 4 corners of my constituency, bring me a scripture as confirmation that you, God, you want me to contest E.T. Mensah. And they brought me Proverbs 21:31. The horses and chariots are prepared for battle, but victory comes from God. 4 people I don't know. So I put it on my poster.
Same scripture.
Wow.
Within the space of 4 days.
Wow.
And that was what gave me confidence when the whole world said E.T. wasn't possible. I knew clearly, and it's always been my walk with God. So I've always served in the church. I see myself as a vestry boy. So I would do whatever my bishop or now my Archbishop Ajinasari asks me to do. Anything for God, I will do. Because, you see, when you labor in God's vineyard, He would also take care of your affairs. And so for me, that's what it is.
So what's your favorite church song?
Plenty. You know.
Which one readily comes to mind?
You're putting me on the spot. As you said, it like 5 songs playing in my head. You know, Woblema tesa ji Yehowa, Woblema tesa ji Yehowa, Hani jembi fe aleake, bohe wale na woyo, Hani jembi fe aleake, bohe wale. Now, meaning you are a rock of ages, and so let all creation know that it is by your grace and your power that we are.
Preach.
All right.
Now before we go, you know, so now we are in church, you know, and so before we go or before we take the offering, we shall ask Elder Sam George to give us a closing prayer.
God of heaven, you who created the heavens and the earth, stretch forth the seas like curtains and put the stars in their place. You in whom time has no meaning, but you define time. We thank you for this opportunity. Lord, we commit our country, Ghana, into your hands. Your word says that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice, but that the heart of kings also rests in your hands. Father, we ask for counsel for our president and those who sit in cabinet with him. We ask for leadership and knowledge for the legislature. We ask, O Lord, for the ability to dispense justice for the judiciary, and ask that you bless the works of our hands. Let everyone who toils in this nation reap their reward, and justly so. And Lord, continue to bind us together with cords of love that cannot be broken. Continue to be that wild shield, that tower that your people will run into in the day of adversity. And Lord, keep our nation far away from the scourge of terror and hatred around us. Lord, continue to prosper this country. Like our national anthem starts with a prayer to you. Bless our homeland, O Lord, and make our nation great and strong. This we have asked through Christ our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen and amen. And thank you, Sam George, Dzata, for honoring our invitation and spending time with us here. Kele kuda kwa wanting on the crown. Kele kuda
is waiting with offering bowl. Yeah.
I should have prayed for him.
You should have.
Azubu aye no. Onyan ware.
Odi anniversary.
Charlie, Odi anniversary. Now, Father, we pray that whoever Kele kuda will marry, Lord, let his machine work.
Amen.
Every weapon of Azubu that has mirrored his machine, we reverse it in Jesus' name.
Amen. No, but you and Kele could have something in common. Beating in common.
Immediately, Yambomu free. Nidiane Sutro Binti.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Thank you guys so much for spending time with us right here on the Upside Down Show. My name is Nana Tufo.
My name is Prampam. It's been awesome. Thank you very much. See you next week.